Welcome to round 3 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of July 19th. I'm Nicole Lairdix, and I'm here with Terry Morrow.
Hello.
And Catherine Haleko.
Hello.
We're moms of teens and young adults, and when it comes to parenting, we've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. But we're still waiting for that day when we'll reach the finish line and have no further need to lay down in a dark room with a wet rag over our eyes, worrying about something or other. Wednesday is complaint day here on the Parenting Roundabout, and today we are complaining about another lovely parenting article that provides all kinds of support and positive affirmations. Not. This one is called Identifying 5 Toxic Behaviors that Parents Are Probably Ruining Their Kids With.
Man, we're throwing that word around pretty lightly lately, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yes. So it basically says, here are 5 behaviors that are considered to be toxic. Does it clarify who considers these to be toxic? Like, did they...
The judgy writer of the piece.
Yeah. Like, is there like research out on this by, psychologists? So. I don't know.
I think it's the usual suspects of some psychologist or...
There could be some slim thread of, authority behind it, but it really had the look to me of, here's a topic, write 1,000 words on it, your deadline is in an hour.
And they gave it to a 23-year-old intern?
Yeah, it has that feel, and I have written those articles, so I know them when I see them.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, here are the 5, and you can self-identify if you would like as I read through the list, or not. The first one would be yelling is a toxic behavior.
What? They think yelling is bad.
In some cultures, yelling is appropriate. Like Eastern Europeans, they yell all the time. It's a cultural thing. I mean, so yeah, who are these toxic behaviors about?
Read the rest of the list. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Okay, so number 2, comparing siblings. Okay, well, I don't think I do that, but I had that happen.
I don't like this article as much as I like that other article.
Labeling, like what?
You're this is my athletic one, and this is my smart one. Yeah,
yeah,
that kind of thing.
This is my ditzy one. This is, yeah.
Does it matter if it's true?
No, it doesn't. Seriously.
Anyway, continue.
They're not going to let you do it, even if it's true, Terry.
This is my annoying article.
Quieting emotions. Like
saying, be a big boy, don't cry.
Yeah, don't cry. Or walk it off. Or you'll get over it. Or it'll pass. I have a whole plethora of those. I don't say those to my kids, by the way. Saying you always, or you never, or you're making me. What?
You're making me crazy. You're making me tired.
Gaslighting? Is that kind of what it is?
I don't think that rises to the level of gaslighting. All of this sounds like something one might do in a difficult situation.
Yeah.
Because one is a human being. This is indicting. This is saying basically you are acting like a human being and that is toxic. Cut it out. Be like a dog. Just lick them in the face all the time and leave them alone. This kind of thing makes me crazy. Because I think that this sort of nitpicking of parenting down to this level, calling this level of stuff toxic with this much depth is toxic. Because it makes parents second guess and judge themselves for every bleeping thing they say. Come on.
And
are kids that delicate? Really?
If you're reading this...
My kids do not seem to be.
If you're reading this, you're probably not a toxic parent. You know what I mean? If you are oh gosh, I'm worried. What if I'm doing something wrong? You probably are not.
Oh,
you care enough that you're not. So
you're self-aware.
And I don't think the distinction is made. Toxic parents may do these things, but simply doing these things does not make you a toxic parent. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because there's nothing in here about frequency or circumstance,
or whether you do it and then immediately after you apologize. Or, I mean, we're all going to yell sometimes. And there are times when you might compare or label, thinking that you're doing a good thing, that you're giving the thing to your kid to be something that's theirs. And okay, maybe the American Psychiatric Association says cut that out, and we should think about that. But I don't think it's necessarily done all the time with a black heart. It certainly can be. Certainly, lots and lots of times, bad parents say bad things to their kids along these ways. But again, I say, not everybody who says that is doing it that way. And to just make you feel like, oh my goodness, if I even open my mouth, I'm going to do something terrible. I'm an awful parent no matter what I do. I'm just going to go lay down in a dark room with a wet rag over my eyes. That's not helpful. Stop it. Give people a break. And sometimes, you know what? Sometimes you do need the kid to snap out of it.
Yeah, I mean, what if you're yelling because the kid's like about to run in the street?
Yes, this is what happens. I hope this author is happy when parents stay in the dark room, their kids run out into traffic and get hit by cars. This is toxic article
I can't yell. What should I do?
Yes. I don't want to make them feel like I'm labeling them as stupid for not knowing to stop before they get to the street. That would be bad.
Right.
I will just quiet my emotions and sit in this dark room.
Well, I feel like a lot of this, these are tactics from previous generations. And we know better now. I think a lot of us, with all the parenting resources, but I think overall we kind of know better, or most of us, a lot of us do, right? Or we know, it doesn't mean to say we actually do it. Yeah. But I think it's just trying to also veer us away from those practices in the past that were often, those were the go-to parenting strategies.
Yes.
I mean, those were kind of the basis, the foundation of parenting, right?
Yeah.
For the generation before mine, at least. And
it's like we always say, I mean, there's no nuance here. There's no allowing for any different circumstances, where something might be appropriate, I mean, they're just calling these behaviors automatically toxic is just all it does is make people feel bad for having ever done them once in an emergency or whatever.
Having emotions of their own and having a temper. Can we point out that this list is exactly things that our kids do to us? Do kids yell? Do kids say, why do you give my brother things and you don't give them to me? Why do they ever label themselves and the other kids? Do they ever tell you, Mom, stop whining, stop being upset, you're embarrassing me? Do they ever say, you always do this, you never do this, or you're making me? Of course they do.
We had a whole discussion recently about how moms have to swallow their emotions when kids say mean things.
So, how come we can't do these things and they can, huh? Shouldn't we teach them to be parents one day by taking these things out of their arsenal? Don't be telling me I'm embarrassing. That's labeling.
Well, there definitely, there are occasions when we do have to use that, of course, stop running across the street or something, right? But I don't know. Yes, they are toxic, and yes, it's a very judgy list. But yes, we should be aware that those might not be the best parenting behaviors. But I'm not going to judge anybody if they use that, because I don't want anybody looking at my parenting.
Yeah. Like everything else, with discretion and moderation.
Totally.
Maybe it's not the worst thing in the world. Did they propose 5 things you should do instead?
See, now that would have been a very positive, solution-oriented article.
Excuse me, honey. Please don't run into the street. Please stop.
Yes. Like, what would be the positive spin on those ones? What would be if you were to write an article, what would those topics be?
If I were to write an article, I would say, Mama, sometimes you have to let off steam or you're going to explode. So if you need to do any of these 5 things, go for it. And afterwards say, gee, kids, I'm sorry, that was not appropriate. And buy them McDonald's and it'll all be good.
Maybe you should just be like 5 behaviors that are toxic if you use them repeatedly every day. Like there has to be some kind of clarification.
I don't yell every day.
No, but I mean, if you did it every day, that would be toxic.
I guess. I as always feel like every situation, every family, every person is different and that probably we should not be tagging anything anyway. But as with kids, don't tell them what not to do, tell them what to do. Well, you can tell them what not to do also, but, it's more helpful to say, here's a great strategy, why don't you try this, than everything you're doing now is wrong, bye.
Which is pretty much what we get here.
Right. Someone just write some toxic behaviors of online article writers.
Yes. Well, here on the Parenting Roundabout, we do complain, but then on other days of the week, we provide, at least if not advice, we provide commiseration and suggestions of things that may have worked for us, which may or may not work for you.
Which we acknowledge.
Yes. So that's it for today's round 3. Tune in tomorrow when we'll obsess about house rules and dress codes, and then on Friday to see what we've come up with for our Roundabout Roundup picks this week. Find all our episodes at parentingroundabout.com and talk back in the comments there, on our Facebook page, or on Twitter, where you'll find us at Roundabout Chat.